So this has been a long video in the making, but a company called EloBeth, or EloBeth, depends on the accent. I don't know how to pronounce it, but EloBeth. Johnny Ive's going to EloBeth. He's going to check out their amazing product. This company in particular has sent me a total of 6 different Apple Watch bands, all of them ranging from under $20 to a little bit over. So of course, all of these are cheaper than the cheapest Apple Watch band, which is really cool. And I've actually enjoyed using them a little bit, but keep in mind, just because they sent these products to me for free, I'm not going to blindly give them positive reviews. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to admit some of the faults I have with these bands, but also keep in mind I really enjoy some of them. So first off, we have a very unique approach of the Apple Sport Band. So this is not really a design you can see from Apple, which is actually what I like in a third-party watch developer. They're making something that Apple doesn't provide, which I think is smarter, especially if you're going the affordable route. That way it doesn't just feel like a knockoff of the Apple one. And this one has like a white stripe down the middle. It's a design element, and I think it looks really, really nice when I'm wearing it. And on the back, of course, we have white that complements that stripe really well. They're built okay. You can tell that they're not certified by Apple. There's little imperfections in the back, and sometimes it can feel like that the watch attachment part of it is kind of glued together. It's not super stiff, but I've worn it a lot. And one very unique, different thing about this one is it actually has 2 pins instead of 1. I'm not sure how that helps. I don't know if that does anything, but I've worn it a lot and I've really enjoyed it. And it just kind of complements all of my other sport bands out really well. And of course, this isn't something you can get from Apple. And again, really, really affordable. Less than half the price of a regular sport band. So the next one is probably my favorite one, even though it was a bit of a learning curve for me, is this black metal clasp kind. Again, this one is also very affordable, but it has that click method in the back, and it is made out of metal. This is not plastic, and you can take links out of this until it fits your wrist. And that was one kind of complicated problem with this watch band, is they have little switches on the back that let you take out individual links so that it is the right size, because when I first got this, it was way too loose on my wrist, and it was kind of tedious trying to get every single bracket out of there. Now, I'm sure that any watch band that uses this mechanism of attachment is probably just as complicated. Trying to get out each individual link bracelet is probably fairly tricky, but I can say once I did figure it out, it's actually really convenient to put on. You can slide it on while it's loose, and then you click the clasp down, and then it's on there pretty tight. I've worn this in the shower, I've worn it outside, I've been doing a lot of work, and I've probably worn this one the most out of all the different EloBeth bands I've got. And I have to say, out of the 6, I think this is the one I'd recommend the most. Next is actually more of a budget option of an Apple Watch band that actually does exist. You may have heard of it. It's the Hermes, or the Hermes, or the Hermes. You guys are going to correct me no matter what. I say it one way, you correct me in the comments. I say it a different way, you correct me in the comments. I'm just not good at pronouncing things, okay? I used to call it Hermes, but they have this giant kind of almost belt-like watch band that really takes up a lot of space on your wrist. This isn't necessarily the kind of watch band I like to wear because my tan line on my arm is already bad enough for wearing my watch, and this just expands on that, makes my tan line even more noticeable because it takes up more space. But it's got a hole in the back, so the watch can still check your heart rate, it can still stay just as active, but it just has a bigger plate for it to rest on. And it does feel like kind of a genuine canvas type of leather material. I'm sure it's not as premium because it's so cheap, but if you want to have a watch band that's similar to that Hermes look, this is a really easy way to do that. I think most people aren't even going to notice that it's not the official one unless they look at it really closely. However, one problem I did experience with wearing this one was that it started to leave little brown marks on my skin. Not cancer, don't worry, just like literal paint rubbing off of the watch band itself, which is probably due to the not so premium material. But again, aesthetically, it still looks fine. The brown stuff just washed off. It wasn't a big deal. It's just something I thought you guys should know about. And the watch attachments on it are very luxurious and metal. Like, it locks into the watch very safely, which is something I like in third-party watch bands, because a lot of them don't. A lot of them feel like, is the watch band in there? And this one really does lock it in there. It feels like it could be an official Apple one, but it's not. And again, it's pretty affordable. Next, going off of that train of Hermes or whatever Apple Watch band, is the double strap. I have no idea why people would ever buy these or what the purpose is, but if you didn't notice, this watch band is incredibly long. It's like approaching levels of belt, and it means that when you put it on your wrist, you wrap it around your entire arm twice and then click it into the clasp on the back. I guess some people think this looks cool, but honestly, I just think it takes extra time to put on. It's like, what's wrong with just a regular one? Why can't we just have a regular leather watch band? I really don't understand it, but if you're interested in watch bands that kind of do that double loop for some reason, because I know the Hermes ones do that, but again, those are all sold out, and when they even were available, they were like $1,200. It was crazy. And this, of course, is crazy affordable, so you can really only get them from third parties now, and this, of course, is going to provide that. But again, just why? Why do you need to do a double loop? I get that EloBeth is probably just making this because Apple doesn't sell it anymore, but why did they sell it in the first place? place. I don't understand it. I tried to wear it for a while, but I just found it a little tight. I guess it's more secure, but it's just taking up a lot of space on your wrist. It's unnecessary, but fashionable, I guess. Still, I'd recommend it. And lastly, I want to talk about the ones I'm not that big a fan of, both aesthetically and functionally. It's these giant jewel-filled metal ones. They're supposedly stainless steel on the back, but I couldn't really get used to wearing this. It has a very complicated method of attachments because both the clips have to click out. And then on top of that, this one doesn't fit my arm very well, so they give you a whole different tool just designed for helping you remove little bracelets in this thing. But I didn't even want to mess with that because with all these gems on here, the way it sparkles so much, and especially with my space gray Apple Watch, I don't see that working very well. I don't think this is something I would personally wear, but there probably are people out there who would like something like this. It kind of looks more luxurious, like you're going to a party of some sort, and you've got kind of jewelry. This kind of turns your watch into jewelry. I'm not a jewelry guy though, but if it's out there, keep in mind this is affordable if you're looking for a way to spice up your Apple Watch. But I recommend if you're getting this one, you should probably have a silver Apple Watch. This isn't gonna look good with a space gray, but still very well made, just design-wise not for me. It could very well be for you out there if you wanted it. And the last Apple Watch band we'll be talking about today is the Jet Black and Gem watch band. It's kind of that shiny jet black as my favorite one earlier, except this one has randomly scattered gems in each individual bracket, which again you need a tool to take out, which is also pretty complicated. And the method of attachment is kind of forceful. These parts on the back you kind of have to shove into each other and push down really hard for it to work. And I'm just not a fan of the method this attaches on because it honestly took me an extremely long time just to figure out how to take these two apart, and then trying to figure out how to put them back together was so complicated that I just said, I don't even know how I'm going to figure out how to do this once it's on my wrist. I haven't even put the Apple Watch on yet. So this is probably the only EloBeth watch band I wouldn't recommend. The attachment is too complicated. I know that there's probably other watch bands out there that work like this, but I think it's way too hard. I think a sport band is really easy to put on. Classic buckles are really easy to put on. The Milanese loop is very simple. You just strap, magnet, and this is like forceful. This is like click, click, and pull. You literally open this one just by pulling really hard, and I don't think that's intuitive. And I also think design-wise, it just doesn't look very good. But they included it in the batch of watch bands they sent me, which I really appreciate. I'm giving them a 5 out of 6 because out of the 6 you sent me, there are 5 that pretty good, and about 4 that I actually want to wear. But definitely, I think you should recall this. This doesn't look good. It doesn't work very well. I don't see anyone enjoying this very much. It's okay to have cool-looking watch bands, but if it takes a tool to make it fit your wrist, I don't want to finick with that. I just want to take the watch band out of the box and have it work. I don't want a giant project that is like, oh, I got a new watch band. Time to take the next 30 minutes to see how many bracelets I need to take out for it to fit my specific wrist. It's too much. There's other things out there that design-wise look fine and work fine, and you should go with those. So with the Apple Watch Series 3 right around the corner, maybe you can spice it up with an EloBeth watch band. It's very affordable, which can help you save money for the iPhone edition. And like I said, it adds great accessory attachments to my Apple Watch, especially that black link one. That's probably my favorite, and I plan on wearing that fairly often. So everyone, give a big shout out and thank you to EloBeth for sponsoring this video. Really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy their products as much as I did. This is your Apple Shaper, and I will see you in the next one.